What's up, everyone? This is Roots of Black, not bringing you the Septuagint as you can see from the title. This is an introduction to the book of Enoch and before the flood. So, we have something that they're telling us that it's called mythology. There is no such thing as mythology or myths or, folk tales or any of this stuff. This is all real. Now, of course, different languages, the lying tongue and the wicked ones have changed names and, certain aspects of the story because that's just the nature of who you're dealing with. And another thing that we should truly understand is that human beings' imagination is in the realm of what they understand. They don't have an imagination past, what they see. Because I mean, you just wouldn't do it, especially back then when life was much different, where there wasn't walled cities and protection. So they wouldn't have time to be sitting there to imagine all of this stuff that they're saying is a myth and mythology. You just wouldn't be able to do it because they think about it. They were farmers. They had to hunt, gather. They had, you know, things that we call dinosaurs, and they had real life monsters, beasts, giant lions and tigers, and everything else on the earth. They wouldn't have time to be imagining green space aliens and super giant stories and stuff like that. They wouldn't have time for this. So, in order for this to be a part of our cipher collective human, nature, it would have to be in our face. So, I'm going to show you something. So, this is, let me see if we can get some images. This is Yggdrasil. This is the North mythology, where they're talking about the world's tree, and they call it different. Let's see here. See, it says is an important feature of Norse mythology is the North tree of life. Nine worlds, part of the ancient Norse view of the cosmos, and is an ash tree which all the worlds, including the world humans and the world of the gods, nestled amongst the branches and roots. So that's what they're saying in the nine worlds. Now, let's look at it here. Oh, let's see if I can visit this. Does it get bigger? See, this is the nine so-called nine worlds here, and it says, this is the home of the gods, home of the humans, home of the dwarves, you know, home of the dead, ice and fog and myth, Nephilim, home of the giants, home of the. So you can see here that this tree, it has nine worlds supposedly, but we're going to look at it in the nature of our Earth and to what it actually is. So let's try to find. Okay, so this is the closest one that I can find. There's more of them here. So this is basically how the Earth looks here. So let's go here. This is basically how the Earth is. Now, as you can see, there is a tree that reaches to the top. And as you can see how it was there in the Yggdrasil here. I'm just trying to show it because they got a little different drawing of it than this one. Okay, let's look at this one here. As you can see here, the tree, I mean, it's the same thing. The tree reaches the top of the dome. The tree reaches the sky. an Avatar. You saw that the world tree, the giant mother tree. So this was real life. So little do you understand that there was a tree, and then I'm gonna type in something too so you can see this here. I don't know if I'm going to release this to the public. I think it might just be for the Telegram family. We will see here. So we're gonna type in tabletop mountain. Okay, not now. It's supposed to show more than one. It's not like that there's just one of them. So as you can see, tabletop mountains. All right, we're gonna go visit these because I'll need you to see them for yourself. See, this is a tabletop mountain. You see that there? Those are roots. Those are roots. You see that? That's the bottom of a tree. They chopped the tree down. See? Look at that. That's a tree. These are trees. When you see this here, these were trees. And then there was one tree. That's a tree. That was a tree. These were trees. So one of these trees was the biggest, and it probably is this one here. Okay, what tree? What? Seen from the road of Ura and Kata. I have no idea where this mountain is. Let's see if we can find out where this mountain is. I don't need the flicker part of it. Want to I just want to find out where this mountain is. It's in Australia, as I can see. It's in Australia. This is probably where the world's tree was, because as I look at that one, that one seems like the biggest one. So there was a world's tree, and there was trees under the world tree that were huge. So remember, the dinosaurs was huge. They had necks. They had that, you saw the what's it, the Bronchiosaurus or whatever it is, and the Tyrannosaurus, the pterodactyl, whatever the damn name of the flying ones are. Most of those are fake, but we had all of these. So where did they nestle at? They were huge themselves, so that means they had to have trees bigger than them. So as you can see here, I'm glad it's actually showing you how big this tabletop mountain is. So that was a tree. All of these are trees. So there was one tree that was this big that seen the top. So that means the root system was all the way underground. That's where you see the dwarves and all of this here. So if a tree's that big, that means the roots under the earth are just as big as the tree that you see on top. That's one thing you need to know. When you see a tree, the root system is usually the same size as the tree above. That's why it says, as above, so below. So if you have a tree that's the size of the earth, that means that tree probably has roots the size of the earth inside of the earth. So this is why, you have the underground dwellers of the Lord of the Rings that they're trying to tell you about, like the dwarves and the giants, because there's people living in the earth. The scriptures tell you this. The Septuagint, even the KJV, wicked KJV, tells you this. So what they did was, when we're gonna go back to these mountains here, is that the giants cut down the mountains. So when they did that, they destroyed the earth. And you know that when you cut down a tree, right, the roots are going to die eventually. So it's going to make all of these waterways. So it's going to, that the Most High said, I'm going to release the deep. So the tree, the world's tree, was connected to the deep, the waters from the deep. And they cut it down. So he said, I'm going to release it, because he was holding it back. But they kept being wicked and more wicked and more wicked. So they said there's no sense of holding it, because he was holding it back from coming up to destroy everyone, from flooding the whole entire planet and changing the whole course of it. Because, Earth was one big giant landmass, just like it shows here. You see this here, and you see the rivers proceeding from the tree? This is how the Earth was. It was one giant landmass. And then once they cut down that tree, the Most High released the deep from under it, and it cracked, and it made the continents. So that's how we have the continents that we see today. And let me show you something else. So we showed you the tabletop mountains. You saw is Yggdrasil there, or the world's tree. We saw the tabletop mountains. Now you're about to see something else. So these are the mountains here. Mountains have faces. So these are real pictures of mountains. Face, face, that's a fake one. Animals, faces, face, like the man showing you giant sleeping. Face, faces in mountains, face, 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 face. These are all faces in mountains. This is why the Most High said, I made all the mountains. Face, face, shape face, faces. They're everywhere. There's animal faces. There's giant animals. So if the tree was that big, then I need you to see the Titans. That's why they called it the Titans. They were the original children of the Watchers. They was not giants. They were Titans. They were literally walking buildings. So they cut down those giant trees and they ate on top of the trees. And they, because of their appetite, and they were never supposed to be. Let me also show you something too. All right. So what can I close down? I can close down this. Well, I'm just going to type in liger, so you can see. This is the liger. So this is the offspring of a tiger and a lion. And when a tiger and a lion, because they're not supposed to be having children, when they mate, the tiger, the liger, is 2 times bigger than a tiger and a lion. So this is what happens when you mix species that's not supposed to mix. They will come out bigger than what they're supposed to. So this is it right there. See, showing you how big they are between each other. See how small it is, like 550 pounds, 600 pounds, and these are like 1,000 plus pounds. That's what they do when they breed. Instead of being like a tiger or a lion, it just dwarfs both of them. So that's also understanding of when you mix 2 different species that's not supposed to mix, what they can create. And obviously there's something in a tiger and a lion. When they create each other, the genes go out of control and they keep growing. So also understanding the world's tree here. So that means that if you have these trees and all these other trees, you see the ones on the side there. So when you have this world tree and all these other trees, the oxygen in the air was amazing. So when you're in an oxygen-rich environment, everything grows bigger. Not only does it grow bigger, it grows stronger, because your bones are going to be strong, your muscles are going to be strong, and it's going to be like instant healing. You know how you show all this stuff where they're casting spells, or like Terminator, where they instantly heal this and that. That's what I'm saying. That is his imagination. And they call them the cavemen, but their bones are stronger and denser, because they lived under an oxygen-rich environment, because, trees create oxygen. So imagine having a world tree that reached the top of the dome, and then having other trees under it that are doing this. So imagine how much oxygen was in the environment, how strong we really were, the animals, everything that lived on here was strong. So think about what they have done. They destroyed the whole earth. They were crossbreeding everything. The giants were eating everybody up because they were huge. So there was not enough food or anything to sustain them. So the Most High had to kill them. And that's where the Nephilim comes from, and the seeds of the serpents and all that other stuff, because of the things they have done. So we see that, the Most High, when he says, I formed the mountains, and most of them came after the flood. So he had big giants dead, and then he created and turned them into mountains. That's why I said my holy mountain. So maybe one of the biggest giants of all time that he killed and this and that. He made him a mountain. I mean, just saying, you can see this. We can clearly see that, like I say, the majority, these are mountains, faces in mountains. There, there's animals. There's also the cave of the womb. It's a giant vagina. It's a giant that died with her legs open, and it turned into a cave. This is crazy, but that's what he did. He murdered them. Like I say, these are the titans. The giants are different. The giants are, of course, they're 40 feet tall, so they're still huge. But we're talking about the ones that were walking mountains. They were everywhere. I mean, you can go read about the book of Enoch and talk about that they cut down the world tree, and and they said they'll be punished for what they did to the earth, because the earth was created to be populated and to be beautiful and to be green and to be lush, and they changed it. I mean, look at it. I mean, so if think about this for a second, right? This is why when it says the rivers proceeded from it. And this is why when it says that this was during the time of peg leg, when the earth was divided, it wasn't talking about that they divided the earth amongst the people. No, it's talking about when the flood came and divided the earth, literally broke it apart. So, like I say, think about this tree and this root system of cutting it down, and that's why you see this underground, and they show from there to there like it's a portal, but no, it's not a portal. There's just the root system of giant trees that's everywhere. So of course there's people living under there. I mean, that's easy to see and understand. I mean, you could just type in, because I mean they're actually saying that human beings make this. They're actually saying. I want to see if I'm there. It is. Let me show a map. You want to see images. This is the Roman catacombs. This is underground and under Rome. This is under Rome. They're saying that human beings made this. No, no, human beings didn't make these. They lived under there, like all human beings. I mean, go look at all the elaborate things underground that human beings lived at. This is the only place that the human beings lived underground. These are, this is an ancient tree that was cut, and these are the root system that was under there that's died. The roots died. So they left the holes there. Because I mean, what would they would have been able to dig this out and not kill each other and the stuff collapse? I need you to understand the way they did this with the tools they have. It would have collapsed under them. How were they were able to do this? Because these are trees, and I'm sure the Roman Colosseum was probably the leftover of that tree, and they turned it into what it to the Colosseum. Because if it has this root system under here, there was a giant tree there. I mean, they lived under the root system. This is what mankind did, and then our family during the time that they escaped, the gladiators and the Rome when they came and tried to kill them, they started to live under there in order to hide themselves, in order to not to be taken and to be sold off and be killed, and then put into the gladiator games and get ate by the lions and tigers and the bears. So that's why you see all, and I'll show you this when because the book is almost finished. So you'll see this stuff under here, and you look at how far this goes and what they did. Look at it. It's even bigger than this, but they won't tell us that because they won't let us go down there anymore. Because it goes further than this. Because it's the root system. It probably goes all the way down to the deep. It probably all goes all the way down. And of course, there's certain parts that are going to be flooded with water. Because you're getting closer and closer to, down there. And that's where all the dwarves and what is it? Lord of the Rings and all that other stuff come from. The underground dwellers. I mean, these systems, They're everywhere. Wherever you see something like this, there was a giant tree there. If I mean, there still might actually be the tabletop mountain there, but they removed a lot of those too. The giants were just they were doing what they wanted. I mean, you think that the only reason people will actually believe that, like, they didn't really read the flood, and all of the reasons. It wasn't just because of the mixing of the seeds and the bloodlines. It's because also what they did to the earth, what they did to the land. That's why you got to read the Book of Enoch. Book of Enoch is the first book ever written. First scribe. He was the first person to ever learn how to write. Enoch was. That's why the books of Adam and Eve. Those things are persuadographs with their word of mouth type of things. Book of Enoch isn't word of mouth. That's the pen. That's the first pen there. He was the first person to learn how to write because the Most High never wanted men to write because he knew that we would corrupt all the ways of all our days of our life by teaching us. But he has no choice now because of the evil that is wrought between all humans now. It can't be done. It can't be stopped. So that was a little introduction to the Book of Enoch.